What I want to do, I'm going to do it into 3 sessions. The first session is really focused on 2 Chronicles 16:9. I'll just read it out. It's, "For the eyes of the Lord move to and fro throughout the earth, that he may strongly support those whose heart is completely his." Now the next part of it is not so helpful, because it's "you've acted foolishly, and indeed from now on you will have wars." But let's go with just the first part of the verse. "For the eyes of the Lord move to and fro throughout the earth," that includes New Zealand, "that he may strongly support those whose heart is completely his." So what I'm calling the first title is how do we attract heaven's attention? So assuming we are either stepping into business or we have a business, how do we attract heaven's attention? Because obviously we want to perhaps attract investors' attention, we want to attract banks' attention maybe, we want to get potential staff's attention, but how do we get heaven's attention? Because I'd say to you that that is one of the key things for us if we're going to go into business or if we're in business now. Because what we want is for the Lord to show himself strong on our behalf as we show him that our heart is completely committed to his. And so how do we attract it? So what I'm going to do is just give you 7 ways that I believe we can, as it were, God, over here. It's like, it's not a kind of 7 steps to success. It's if you start putting these disciplines into action on a regular basis, you will draw heaven's attention. Now what heaven does when heaven comes in is up to heaven, okay? But you can draw his attention. So the first thing is humility. Humility. Some people would say that means, oh, I've got to sort of bow and scrape and always put myself down. But actually humility, as God understands it and what will attract his attention, is you knowing that you're in the place that God has called you. And you know your identity as a son of God in that place. You're not there because you've missed out on being involved in church work, therefore you have to do business. You're in business because God has called you to business for such a time as this. This is one of the main ways that you start to attract heaven's attention, when you line up with that thinking. So if you have that almost like a undermining of your identity in your business, it's very, very difficult to attract heaven's attention, because you're going, well, come here, but I should be here. Come here, I should be here though. Okay? So you want to attract heaven's attention by humility, which is your identity in who you are in Christ. I am a son of God. I am a daughter of God. I do have the authority of Christ at my disposal. And the words I speak have authority in the place that God has placed me. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I've been called to this place for such a time as this. When you step into that, that's humility in the business world. If you're secure in that, God can put you into situations which are quite wonderful. So that's the first thing. The second thing is worship. I suppose it's worship and praise. But if you, as soon as you start to move into the business, or if you have a business already, I'd really encourage you to establish it as a place of praise and worship. Do not rely, as brilliant as it is, the church on a Sunday, don't rely on that. You establish a place of praise and worship in your workplace. There are times in my business we hit crises, and as soon as we hit the crises, I said, right, we need to just get everyone out of the office that doesn't believe in the Lord, which were most of my staff. Those that do, stay, and I'll get music people in, and we're going to worship in this place. We're going to shut the thing down for the day, and we're going to worship. we're going to establish it as a place of worship, a place of the kingdom. Now that doesn't necessarily change everything overnight. It's not like a one-stop shop, if you like, but it just brings the presence of God. It attracts heaven in. So if you're thinking about a business or you're in business now, do what you can to establish that place as a place of praise and worship. Okay, so that's the second one. The third one is, I'm going to call it integrity, but it's probably a slightly different approach to integrity. This is not honesty. This is not seeing your life as two parts, church life, business part. Your life is one, and that one is in Christ. So your whole life is Christ living his life out through you. Whether you're at home, whether you're at church, whether you're in a business, integrity